looking to win their third straight Turkey Day game, while the Lions are looking to avoid losing their sixth straight. Next, down at Jerry's World, we got the Giants taking on the Cowboys in a key NFC East matchup. The Cowboys lost their last three Thanksgiving matchups, with their last win coming in 2018 against Washington. And capping off the night, the Patriots will face the Vikings, where the Patriots play their first Thanksgiving game since beating the Jets in 2012, while the Vikings look to beat the Patriots for the first time since, wait for it, 2000. We now go live to Las Vegas to bring in ESPN sports betting analyst and our friend, the one and only Joe Fortenbaugh. Joe, thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to get right to it because, you know, Doggy's real excited to be here. Big better here to my left. Let's start with Buffalo at Detroit. The over-under is 54.5. What do you like, Joe?
Yes, the annual Detroit butt kicking on national television for all to watch. But fear not, Lions fans, not going to pick against you today. We're going to play under 54.5 total points here. Now, Detroit's hung 31 in each of their last two games, which I think is inflating this number. But that came against the Giants and the Bears. This is against the Bills, a step up in class. They rank top 5 in scoring defense. And keep in mind that even with those two big offensive performances, the Lions are averaging just 18 points per game over their last 6. Buffalo should run the ball here. Detroit's run defense is absolutely abysmal. Take some of the stress off of Josh Allen's arm and give him 10 days to get ready for the next game. Ultimately, I see it being a lower scoring game. I'm going under 54.5.
I'm going over. I'm going to say the 54.5 because I think that Buffalo's going to score at least 40 on Detroit. I mean, they just played there this past week. They're familiar with the stadium and everything else. Not that that really matters much, but I'm just throwing that in there since the game was moved from Buffalo because of the blizzard. All right, they were in Detroit, so now, you know what, they go right back to familiar confines. They're going to score 40 on Detroit, and I think Detroit has the potential to score about 24, 25 points against them. So I see this going over the 54.5. I'm going over.
How in the world can you watch Thanksgiving rooting for tackles and punts? And that's what you'd have to do if you want the under. So I'll be like Stevie. I'll go over. I'll say this. I like the Lions to cover. It's 9.5 points. They're due to play a big game. And remember about Buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo does not do a good job, Joe. Last week, the Browns covered. They blew a 27-10 lead to Minnesota. Green Bay covered late in the game. I could see the Lions being competitive. I'll take the points. I'll take the, as Stevie said, I'll take the over just for standpoint of enjoying my turkey, rooting for touchdowns.
All right, we'll keep it rolling here. New York, 9.5-point underdogs at Dallas. Super banged up. What's the play?
Well, first of all, a real treat in the show today to have everyone picking against me. Fantastic ambush you guys have set up on Thanksgiving. Back to the business at hand.
You're welcome.
The honest opinion here is that you should probably stay away from a lot that this game has to offer. I think you can play some props like Daniel Jones throwing an interception, but ultimately with all the injuries and all the issues, I lean to Dallas. I don't want to lean to Dallas, but I think New York is in really bad shape coming in here. They're missing cornerbacks. They've got an illness that's ripping through the locker room. A lot of guys are going to show up here. They're not going to be in good shape. Dallas is 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 Thanksgiving games. So it pains me to take them here, but I think the Giants are in bad shape coming into this game.
Listen, I think the Giants are going to get slaughtered in this. I really do. I got the Giants losing by a minimum of 14 points. And I love me some Coach Dable and the job that he's done. But based on how I saw them look last week against Detroit, and then to have to go to Dallas, you're injured, you're ill, and your quarterback will make you feel ill when you watch some of the plays that he makes. Or you combine that, I mean, listen, their only hope is being able to run the football, obviously. And I think on Thanksgiving Day on a short week, I just don't see that happening. Because as far as I'm concerned, Dallas Cowboys had a short week, too, because they didn't have to worry about the second half because they had already slaughtered Minnesota. It wasn't like it was a nail-biter. I think this is a bad spot for the New York Giants to be in.
Now, I'll take Dallas, too. The one thing that worries me, Joe and Stevie, though, everybody's on Dallas. When everybody's on one team, go the other way. Because that's the way it works.
They're allergic to prosperity.
So will you go the other way?
I won't. I'll take Dallas. I'm with Stevie, and I'm with Joe. I'll take Dallas. That's a lot of points in a divisional rivalry game. I'll give up the 10 or the 9.5.
Okay.
Next.
New England at Minnesota. The over-under is 42.5. Which way are you going, Joe?
This is going to be the under as well. 42 is a very key number when it comes to betting totals. So if you're playing this, you got to make sure you get the hook at 42.5. Game Teams on short rest tend to favor lower scoring affairs, tend to favor unders, and that's a trend going back over 10 years. New England's bringing a heck of a defense to the table here. And Bill Belichick going against Kirk Cousins, I like my chances with Belichick. Hear me out. Belichick's known for forcing the other team to play left-handed. We know Minnesota wants to throw the ball all over the field, so I wouldn't be surprised if New England sat back in nickel and dime and said, we're taking away the throwing lanes, we're going to let you run it underneath. That should lead to a big day for Dalvin Cook, but it also keeps the clock running. Now, on the other side, Mac Jones and that New England offense look terrible. Short week, on the road, crowd noise in Minnesota. Viking defense needs to bounce back. I think this is a lower scoring game.
I agree with you here because I think that what we've seen in the two losses that Minnesota suffered, Justin Jefferson, Philadelphia, and then obviously Dallas, they were able to contain Justin Jefferson. That's what we saw, all right? And when Kirk Cousins doesn't have Justin Jefferson to throw the football to, that chemistry that he's looking to accomplish with Hockenson, that's not there yet. Adam Thielen, even though he's good, he's no Stephon Diggs and he's no Justin Jefferson. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and then you look at New England and the experience on the defensive side of the ball, coached by Bill Belichick, if anybody has the potential to slow down a receiver and make you beat them a different way, it's Bill Belichick and that defensive squad. I think this is going to be under 42.5. That's what I'll go with.
I agree. And I tell you, the good play in this game, take the Patriots on the money line. You're not getting any points anyway. It's 3. Take Belichick to beat O'Connell. Experienced coach, 3 days rest, Thanksgiving. You know the Patriots are going to be ready to go. You agree with that, Steve?
Yes.
Joe likes it. Joe's nodding.
You agree with that, Joseph?
If Joe agrees, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the number come towards New England. Everyone always talks about the extra rest and how great coaches like Andy Reid take advantage of it. I'm a believer that the short week games, those are the ones that really favor the good coaches. We saw that with Mike Vrabel against Matt LaFleur last week, Tennessee versus Green Bay. Right here, we're going to see it as well. Belichick's edge over O'Connell is going to be seen in this game.
All right. Joe, thank you.
Season, I think teams would rather face quarterbacks like Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, guys like that, rather than seeing Tom Brady come to town.
That could be a very interesting finish here. The next one, I want to ask you about Justin Fields. He's been so spectacular the last month or so. Can he keep playing the style that he is playing right now?
I think he can because, you know, it's something that I think translates over time, and we've seen it before. And the guy we've seen it from is Cam Newton. I think that there are certain traits you see Justin Fields just as a football player, if you will, like as a guy that, you know, look, it's backyard football, breaks down, and I'm just a better runner than you are a tackler. I think that we've seen that. I think we're going to continue to see it, and I think we'll see more design runs out of Chicago to help make that happen.
All right, we'll talk more about that. Meanwhile, what happened to Aaron Rodgers this season?
Yeah, I don't know how you could have seen this coming. I've talked a lot about Aaron's dominance in the NFL over the last 4 years. I would have never have thought losing Devontae Adams would cause this much trouble in Green Bay. I thought Aaron would kind of elevate the play of everybody around him. They haven't found consistent receiver play to help him. It still is a dependent position. Yes, Christian Watson is coming on right now, but it's been a struggle. Maybe Aaron's thumb is a bigger issue than we really realize.
Now, he hurt it back in that London game against the Giants at the very end and frankly has not looked like himself since. Rodgers was on his regular appearance with Pat McAfee yesterday talking about his future. Listen to this.
To sit here and say, oh, no, it's all ball all the time and blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's not the way I am. Like there's life after football. It's been an awesome run. I mean, I'm really proud of what I've accomplished. I don't, you know, I'm not like looking forward to the end. And I don't know when that's going to be. You know, I don't know if it's going to be after the season or after 3 more seasons or whatnot.
Okay, so Neek, he's not going to make this easy for them, right? I mean, what if the Packers season is over, and let's say realistically with 1 more loss it will be, then what they need is to know whether their future does or does not include Aaron Rodgers. And from that soundbite, it seems clear to me they are not going to know anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Aaron's going to be back. I think that he's being honest, as he's been all season with Pat McAfee. I think we're not accustomed to hearing it, but no quarterback is football all their life, all the time. Aaron Rodgers may be on the kind of far end of that distribution where he wants to get away a little more than most quarterbacks, but he's been the same his whole career, and he's coming off of back-to-back MVP seasons. I think we're reaching if we're trying to make this feel like the end of anything for Aaron or the end of anything for the Packers. They still have a pretty strong roster, and this season for sure is over, but I think that they have a chance next year bringing back a bunch of these players if they can address their issues on defense, and if Aaron Rodgers can play at a high level and is fully healthy, they have another chance next year to make a deep run.
Well, but in the absence, Chris Canty, of any certainty regarding Aaron's future, you just heard him say, I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe it'll be after this season. Do they need at some point this year to put the first round